Randy Orton just turned heel, and we are also hours removed from AEW Revolution. This is going to be a fun episode of the Wrestling is Bullshit podcast. I'm very excited to talk about this stuff with y'all, man. This is crazy. Before we even get into Randy Orton off of SmackDown or AEW Revolution, we got to talk about Finn Balor getting kicked out of Judgment Day. At a time in which was, I'd say, least expected. I don't know, maybe some of y'all were anticipating this after they had Balor, lose to Punk twice. Maybe some of y'all were thinking, this is it's time for the Judgment Day to turn on Balor in the wake of WrestleMania. And I was honestly at a point with it where I was like, if you haven't done it by now, wait even longer. And then it comes ahead and happens on Monday Night Raw. Just a very interesting turn. And I've had a full 7 days to sit on it and think about it. And I think initially I was just so surprised. And I really was like, how do I say this? I really was like thinking that it was fine, but it should have been something that was epic. I was very much looking forward to the day for years that Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor would set themselves up to have a match against each other. So I've been, patiently waiting for Finn Balor to, Dom to get kicked out of the Judgment Day was the initial thought. And then it ends up being Balor getting kicked out of the Judgment Day. After a full 7 days to think about it, I think it's okay that I was not happy with the way that the turn played out. But at the end of the day, we weren't waiting for this because of the turn. We were waiting for this because of the match, Finn Balor versus Dirty Dom. I mean, that is one of those money matches that I've personally been waiting for a fat minute now. And, they took their time building up to it, and now it has meaning and significance. Like, I'm not at all saying that this wasn't the right time. It's been the right time for months now, I think. But I think it was tough because the Judgment Day stuff has been awesome while it's been this exact faction. Liv, Raquel Rodriguez, and then, of course, Roxanne Perez. And then you got Finn, JD, and Dom. I think this 6-person faction has actually been really fun. So it's, I almost kind of was falling in love with that version of Judgment Day. I'm not going to sit here and say it was my favorite version of Judgment Day, but I mean, goodness, it's up there. We've had different variations of Judgment Day over the years, and I was having fun with Judgment Day, so I think the turn just kind of threw me for a loop there, and I didn't think was the most amazing. I'm sure a lot of y'all love this, okay? And I want to love this, but I'm sorry, I don't. I really think they could have done a little bit more with it. All right, calling a spade right here. But I am looking forward to their WrestleMania match against each other, Finn Balor and Dirty Dom. I'm very much looking forward to that, and that is going to be awesome. But yeah, I also wonder, what do they have in store for Finn Balor? Because let me tell you, it better be something fucking good. Try not to curse too much on this show, but it better be something good. I will say that much, dude. I will say that much. It better be no mid-card stuff. If you want to have him have one mid-card title for a time, that's fine. But I think, in fact, that might even make sense now that I've said it out loud. But I just think you gotta use him in the main event. All right, Finn Balor is a fantastic wrestler, and I know that WWE lost their trust in him when he got injured, becoming the inaugural Universal Champion about 10 years ago, which is nuts. I understand that that's probably what it is they've lost trust in Balor. They've held him, they've pushed him, they've put titles on him, but we hadn't got that Finn Balor that we thought we were going to get 10 years ago. Let me tell you, we didn't get that NXT Finn Balor. Even when the second NXT run, the Prince, the return of the Prince. I really don't feel like we've got. I mean, we got. Yeah, I can. I don't know. This heel main roster iteration of Finn Balor is not the Prince, and that's okay. In my mind, it's become something much better. That's fair to say. And that's a hot take for sure, because I like me some Prince Devitt. All right. I am a big OG Finn Balor, Prince Devitt type of guy. Nonetheless, man, I just am trying to say that WWE's been underutilizing him for a decade now. I think that's fair to say. They tried with him, it didn't work out, but then that went on to have him, get his big title match every now and then, while ultimately being underutilized. Like, this guy was over. This guy was supposed to be one of the faces. Let's give that another try now that Balor has put his years into the system, shall we? I really think, I mean, I'd be darned if he didn't get some semblance of another opportunity, because, man, I think we all want it. There's not a person in the world that doesn't want to see it. There's not a person in the world that doesn't want to see it. I feel pretty solid about that. It was, I'm really glad I have this as a, tool to kind of talk through some of these things, because I didn't know how I was going to address this Finn Balor thing. And honestly, like, that was just off rip. There were no like thoughts with that, really. That was just me like talking through how I felt about it, because I had felt pretty conflicted, if you couldn't tell in the first 6 minutes of this episode. Like, let's just move on, man. Next, man, we got a very important heel turn. Very interesting heel turn, I will say. The way that WWE books Cody Rhodes, books the Undisputed Championship, and does really big things these days really looks to play on the social media aspect of the community, which can be fun, but now we have a situation where a lot of fans were questioning if Cody Rhodes was going to turn heel in his WrestleMania match against Randy Orton. And here on SmackDown, we have Randy Orton turn on Cody Rhodes. Randy Orton plants 2 feet into his 09 persona, as a lot of y'all have been saying online. We're going to have to wait and see if that's 09 Orton or not. All right, it's too soon to be saying all that, but I would love to see it. I mean, I'm sure they're going to try, right? Anywho, they are going with Orton as the heel for the WrestleMania match, which makes me think maybe we ain't getting that Cody heel turn. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. That's what's fun about this stuff, but I don't think we're getting the Cody Rhodes heel turn. I think now that Randy has established himself as a heel, I think they have set themselves up for the big feud of not only WrestleMania, but 2026. Like, I could see them having some sort of stipulation match at SummerSlam later this year. Have a couple matches. I could see them having a few matches. I could see them being busy all year in a feud with the way WWE works these days. And, good on them, because it has its ups, but it also has its downs. That's all I'm going to say. But nonetheless, yeah, I think that Cody heel turn is going to be paused for another year, which, when I see what they're trying to do for the WrestleMania match here with Orton, I'm excited for. And the possibilities of Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton at other big events in 2026 is going to be fantastic as well, man. I don't know. I'm trying to think about what type of stipulation match they would have at SummerSlam, in the way that John Cena and Cody Rhodes had a street fight at SummerSlam last year. It would have to be, I mean, maybe like 3 stages of hell. Like, now that we mention it, yeah, dude, they brought it back against McIntyre, Cody Rhodes versus McIntyre. I think if you do the 3 stages of hell match between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, you will have your easy match of the year. I mean, dude, yeah, I've been saying some hot takes today, but I wouldn't even say that that's a hot take. That is just truth right there. If we get at SummerSlam Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton 3 stages of hell, I think WWE will have everyone's attention, especially around All In season, right? All In taking place in August, or I think it took place in July in 2025, but I think it is going back to that August spot this year in 2026. Don't know off the top of my head, but I think that's, if you're WWE, I don't see what else you're doing. You keep Cody face and you just have a saga between Cody and Orton. That's going to be fun. That's something we've been waiting for, right? That's like the number one thing we've been waiting for with Cody Rhodes. And I think we're going to get it. We're going to have a good time. And then in Cody's last contract, right? He's waiting for this current contract to expire. And then he stated that in his last contract, his next contract will be his last. To reiterate, his next contract will be his last after he resigns this, Anywho, I think we get the Cody Rhodes heel turn in his last contract, his last run of the year, of his career. My fault. Long day. I'll say that much. All right. Now let's talk some AEW Revolution as Hangman was unable to defeat MJF in his style of match in a Texas death match. MJF getting the win over Hangman in a Texas death match. This does wonders for the run that MJF is about to go on. I mean, that is a huge give to a guy like MJF. Hangman has been the guy that was a passing of the torch, man. That was a passing of the torch. MJF takes it into All In, I'd imagine, after this performance. At least I would want him to, and I would hope that that's the case. And, I'm shocked by this, really. I thought they were going to take their time with Hangman as champion, but, after a couple months, they take the belt off him, set it up on MJF, have MJF defeat Hangman to start off 2026. First pay-per-view of the year, AEW Revolution. Fun times, and then you're going into July, right? All roads lead to All In. It's a longer road than it is to WrestleMania, right? Because it kind of starts with Revolution in March, and then it goes for 6 freaking months. It goes for 6 months, but it's a good time, right? It just escalates and escalates. Nonetheless, man, I'm excited for what AEW is going to do in 2026 after seeing that pay-per-view. At a time where things that I didn't expect would bother me with like WWE, to be completely honest with you, are totally bothering me right now. And AEW hasn't had a pay-per-view in months. So I've been, it's been weird. It's been weird, and the road to WrestleMania has felt weird, and it's the last WrestleMania in the United States for a minute there as they go to Saudi Arabia in 2027. No clue what they're doing in 2028. So I guess what I'm trying to get at here is I needed this from AEW. I hate to say it. I told you I don't like to be tribalistic, but I am going to be honest. I needed a show like this to fire me back up. The Royal Rumble did not fire me back up. Elimination Chamber was fun, but AEW just, takes on pro wrestling in a totally different way, and it's a way that I really like right now. And I'm sure WWE will find their way. It feels like they're looking for something right now, but I'm not worried about it. Like, they're going to find it. Right? They're going to find it. I do have faith in the main events of WrestleMania this year. I will say what WWE is doing fantastically right now is simply what they need to do, right? For a long time under the old creative regime in WWE, for a long time, at least 15 years, it really felt like they weren't taking care of what they needed to take care of. They weren't booking characters the way they need to book them to main event shows. They weren't developing storylines the way they need to be developed in order to be a big WrestleMania main event match. They may be making mistakes right now, WWE, but they are building stars. They are having fun. And for the most part, they are listening to the crowd. I say the most part, like it's hard for any wrestling promotion to listen to the crowd. I will say that. That's like a big ask. That's what people used to say when WWE was in the shitter, you know, early 2010s, mid 2010s, basically all of the 2010s now that I think about it. um, like, what was I even saying? Anywho, AEW Revolution did great, man. It's cool to see MJF going into this new era where he is the guy, and we just got the return of Will Ospreay. So I imagine MJF versus Will Ospreay is the match to do. There's no way it's not. Basically, what I was thinking is whoever wins this match, whoever wins this Texas Death Match, is going to face Ospreay at All In this year. That's really what I saw in this. And they could have gone either way because, Hangman and Ospreay tore the house down at Double or Nothing last year. But they go MJF versus Ospreay, which is like bread and butter, right? These guys had a match at a previous All In for the AEW International Championship, then called the AEW American Championship. And it was a great match. Oh my goodness, man. We got that. And then weeks later, we got like Cody and Gunther, if I'm not mistaken. And those two matches, it was just like, dude, this is beautiful. This is amazing. I think we'll be saying that about this year's WrestleMania matches, and that is absolutely what I am saying about the main event of AEW Revolution. They are not afraid to tap into something that mainstream wrestling has been afraid to tap into. And yes, I will admit it's not fun watching a syringe go through Hangman's cheek. I didn't like it the first time. I didn't like it the second time. Okay. But we don't have to like everything. And ultimately, if AEW wants to mainstream showcase deathmatch wrestling at a very high level, they have a fun way of doing it. I enjoy the way that AEW does it. It kind of, Paul Heyman's gonna hate me, but it kind of gives me like ECW vibes at a like mainstream wrestling scale. ECW at the end of the day was like an independent show. It was the most badass independent show ever, but that's what it was, you know? So this isn't an independent wrestling show. This is like the the pay-per-view is called Revolution. The Revolution. All right. Let's just go over the championships that changed hands. We first, on the first minutes of the main card, got to see the end of the Blackjack Battle Royal for the AEW National Championship. And we were able to see Jack Perry in his hometown win the AEW National Championship. And I thought this was a good moment. I actually enjoyed this. Listen, you have heard my thoughts on the Scapegoat years ago when it was like the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club. You have heard my thoughts on these types of things, okay? Ultimately, I was not a fan of the Scapegoat. I gave the Scapegoat a fair chance. Jack Perry's heel persona with the Elite. I gave that a fair chance. I even gave him a fair chance when he faced Sonata for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at Forbidden Door years ago. I was giving Jack Perry, just not the benefit of the doubt, but as fair a shot as I've ever given anyone. And I have not really been enjoying his stuff until recently, to be honest with you. Like, I think this is a good spot for him. I think AEW is in a good place to where they can just showcase him as Jungle Jack Perry, formerly known as Jungle Boy Jack Perry, right? Now Jungle Jack Perry. I think he has he's in a situation where he can grow and get reps for several years. Still a really young guy. And I think like this Jungle Jack Perry character of his that he's been using for the past several months, I think this is the guy. This is the character to one day, not anytime soon, not anytime soon, one day win the AEW World Championship. This is not something I thought of Jack Perry ever until I've seen the foundation of what they're trying to do with him right now, which is just have him be himself and get reps. Right? They did the heel character and he got some good reps with that. And he actually did a really good job as TNT champion, in my opinion. He's always been a fantastic guy for that sort of thing. But yeah, I didn't ever see him winning the AEW World Championship ever as the scapegoat or anything that came before it. But now, as Jungle Jack Perry, I see the foundation in which you can build, and I see the simplicity of the situation that will create some great things, like just a good connection with the crowd. I could see him having like a Sami Zayn level connection with the crowd one day. Like this is good. And this AEW National Championship will be a good opportunity for Jack Perry to go be a big fish on a Ring of Honor show, to go be a big fish on a Rev Pro show, to be a fun surprise. Oh, yeah, I'm here to see, like that's what the national championship has been for Ricochet. And Ricochet has done a fantastic job establishing this title as a title in which people can take a good route and growing. Not everyone is meant to be a good TNT champion. I just said that Jack Perry was under his heel scapegoat character. I don't doubt that Ricochet would be, but I think about a way of building a star, and I look at the TNT Championship, which has been one of, if not the, I mean, it's just been a fantastic championship in wrestling, the TNT Championship, for quite a consistent amount of time at this point. And I didn't see that coming, right? It had its lulls for a couple of years, but it's been really fun. Nonetheless, like the way that they are going to build Jack Perry is not the way that a TNT champion builds a star in AEW. Like you look at the way they're going to build Kyle Fletcher, and that's just high quality reps on pay-per-views, main events, wherever you can put this guy. Just put him in there and let him have a good match, right? Like the way you build a TNT champion and the way you build a national champion are two different things. And I've seen that with Ricochet. I've seen that with what I imagine they're trying to do with Jack Perry. And that's why I haven't been complaining about the championships in AEW. I mean, Okada's holding on to that international one. Like, man, like I wish he would do a little better with that. But ultimately, I think every championship is getting done justice right now. Even the ones that did not get much justice in 2025. So I think it's a good thing AEW's got going on right now with the amount of titles they got, with the things that they're trying, right? I thought Mystico and Jet Speed winning the World Trios titles was fun. I thought the Don Callis family beating Hangman and Jet Speed for those titles was fun. Like the AEW Trios titles have been shitty for a long time, but I think like what they've done over the past couple of weeks has been really good. And this title change at Revolution is going to set us up to have some good Dynamite and Collision matches, man. Mystico and Jet Speed defending those belts is going to be fun. I think the foundation is really good right now. You got to think about AEW as a company, like they are still very young. I think there are things that can be better, of course, but I think the way that they've been growing and their ability to try new things and figure out what's working, what's not working, and just keep doing that, like keep coming up with new ideas and redefining and reestablishing things, like they've done a really good job over that, like with that over the past year and a half or so, like taking things that weren't really working, like the TNT Championship, AEW Collision, Ring of Honor. They are taking these things and they are redefining them over the past, couple of months, maybe past year or so, and they are doing great. They're doing great. Like I didn't think AEW could be this ideal, honestly. I figured they would continue to find ways to make more mistakes and even out the really good things with a couple mistakes, you know, but they have really just optimized a lot of their situations right now. It is very interesting to see them grow. It's very fun. They only get better, honestly, which is crazy to say. Like they definitely have their dips, they have their lulls, but when they get out of them, like they come back stronger. I will say that much, man. We have learned that much about AEW recently. They even set up my AEW for international fans. Now, every pay per view by AEW and Ring of Honor, 12 pay per views a year, free for $20 for international fans. $20 a month. $20 a month, you get all the AEW pay per views, all the Ring of Honor premium live events, and you get Dynamite and Collision live. $20 a month for international fans. All of it. $20 a month to be an AEW fan is. I would pay 50, my guy. I would pay 50. I'm not gonna lie. The way they put on a good quality product, the way the wrestlers actually wrestle. Anywho, don't get any ideas, AEW. I like the $20 price tag. Okay, all right. We had one more set of championships change hands on Revolution, and that came with Divine Dominion against the Babes of Wrath. Divine Dominion is a new tag team that's been recently set up after an injury. They wanted to put these titles on Megan Bayne. They did so in LA. Megan Bayne is a champion in AEW, and Megan Bayne is awesome. She has potential to be great. She has a lot of potential, and I'm sure they are going to give her an opportunity, which I hope she does well at soon enough. Maybe, I mean, these tag titles in themselves are an opportunity. Anyway, Megan Bayne and Lana Cross, Divine Dominion, they are the new women's world tag team champions of AEW. And we got a really good run with the Babes of Wrath as an inaugural championship run. We got a really good run. This second run, I hope, is just as good. I think that's the challenge for Divine Dominion right now. That's the challenge, is be as good as the first reign, because the inaugural reign with those belts was really fun. I was a little worried, honestly, but it was really fun. Anywho, time to get into the watch list and then get into the top 20 champions of wrestling. All right. So let's get into the watch list with the first show, Monday Night Raw. We have AJ Lee defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Bayley. And then on Tuesday, we have 3 big women's matches on the NXT Booker T Appreciation Night special. We have Fallon Henley taking on Ren Sinclair for the Women's Speed Championship. We have Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame facing off in a steel cage match for the Women's North American Championship. Yes, sir. And we have JC Jane versus Sol Ruka versus Zarya. Triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. What a fantastic card NXT has put together for their Booker T Appreciation Night. This is going to be fun. I'm very excited for NXT this week. I'll give my flowers to NXT. Let's see. And then on AEW Dynamite, we have 2 big matches coming right off of the Revolution pay-per-view. We have Toni Storm taking on Marina Shafir in a no-holds-barred match. And we have Gabe Kidd taking on Darby Allin in a coffin match. Oh, my goodness. They could have saved both of these matches. I mean, maybe I would say the coffin match. They could have saved the coffin match for Dynasty in April. But no. Here they are, days after Revolution, having a coffin match. Let's go, man. That's going to be must watch. Gabe Kidd and Darby Allin. Gabe Kidd is going to be huge in AEW. I don't know what happened with him in New Japan, but Gabe Kidd is going to be fantastic in AEW. And so are the rest of the dogs. Hopefully one day we'll be calling them the Bullet Club War Dogs. And we'll find out that Bullet Club is for life. That is my big dream with AEW right now. Like, there's a big chance that it doesn't happen. I wouldn't be mad if it didn't happen. Oh my gosh, I would just have so much fun. I would start 2-sweeting right away. I would put a Bullet Club shirt on right away. Call me a mark, man. 2015 was fun. Um, let's get into the last piece on the watch list, and that is coming off of Friday Night SmackDown, the Irresistible Forces defending the Women's Tag Team Championship against the Bella Twins. Dude, this is a showcase for women's wrestling. This watch list, dude. This watch list. A showcase. Absolute showcase for women's wrestling on Raw, NXT, SmackDown, and on Dynamite with Timeless Tony Storm versus Marina Shafir. Good times. I will say, good times. That's great. All right, before I let you go, let's go ahead and do the 20 champions of wrestling. Okay, top 20 champions of wrestling. Before we get into this, we will go over the honorable mentions. This is basically shouting these champions out because they deserve to be shouted out. Their work has been solid, and you should know that I base the top 20 champions of wrestling list off of work rate. I base it off of what? I base it off of work rate. How often are you showing up on your show, defending your title, making it mean something, making the division fun? Okay? There is a science to it, and I will also admit there is a subjectivity to it. Okay? There is a science to it, though. All right. Let's get into these honorable mentions. All right. We have the Evolve champion, Jackson Drake, who's been doing solid. Inaugural Evolve champion, if I'm not mistaken. We have the Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, the Elegance brand. We have the Knockouts World Champion, Ariana Grace. We have the NXT Women's Champion, JC Jane. The AEW International Champion, Kazuchika Okada. Ring of Honor Pure Champion, Lee Moriarty. Pagano and Psycho Clown, the AAA World Tag Team Champions. We have the TNA International Champion, Trey Miguel. We have the TNA World Champion, Mike Santana. We have the Women's World Champion, Stephanie Vaquer. And then we have the World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk. That is your honorable mentions list. I've been very happy with those guys, and those guys have been doing their job. Now at number 20, we have Bandito, the Ring of Honor World Champion. At number 19, we have W.I.B Men's Champion, Cappuccino Jones. Number 18, we have the CMLL World Heavyweight Champion, Claudio Castagnoli. And at number 17, we have the AEW World Tag Team Champions, FTR. At number 16, somebody who has been making a splash on a show that hasn't been on anybody's radar, WWE Evolve. The Women's Evolve Champion, Kendall Gray, has been one of the most fun wrestlers to watch in the world. We also have Lainey Luck, the WWE ID Women's Champion, who's been showing up to work. Number 14, we have the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, Athena. She's been champion for over 3 years, consistently defending the title for over 3 years. Number 13, we have the Women's Tag Team Champions of WWE, Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Number 12, we have the AEW Women's World Champion, Tekla. And number 11, we have Jon Moxley, the Continental Champion of AEW. And now we get into the top 10. At the number 10 spot, we have the North American Champion, Miles Bourne. At number 9, we have the TBS Champion, Willow. At number 8, we have the Women's North American Champion, Tatum Paxley. At number 7, we have the NXT Champion, Joe Hendry. Say his name and he appears. Number 6, we have the Women's Intercontinental Champion, AJ Lee. Number 5, we have the Intercontinental Champion, Penta. Number 4, we have the TNT Champion, Kyle Fletcher. Number 3, the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Champion, Red Velvet, who's been showing up to work and making the Ring of Honor Women's World Television Championship mean something almost every week on Ring of Honor programming. Now, who am I to kid? I don't watch much Ring of Honor, but we have to champion these wrestlers that are getting opportunities. And it's some pretty interesting places where some good work is being done just because somebody's not trying to micromanage it. Red Velvet is becoming a star over there at Ring of Honor. Same with Kendall Gray. Kendall Gray is the biggest thing that WWE Evolve has going right now. And if they take her off of WWE Evolve, I worry for that show. Honestly. Number 2, United States champion Carmelo Hayes. You want to talk about showing up to work? Let's talk about Carmelo Hayes and his United States championship run over there on SmackDown, man. That is good stuff. That is great stuff right there. I think the United States championship is doing well on SmackDown, just creating stars with a very simple concept, and that's the open challenge. John Cena created it. It worked back then, 11 years ago, and Sami Zayn brought it back. Since then, we've seen him, Sami Zayn, Ilya Dragunov, and Carmelo Hayes all have great United States Championship reigns. And here we see the United States Championship at the number 2 spot of the top 20 champions of wrestling. And at number 1, MJF, the AEW World Champion. What can I say? What can I say? Nothing. I don't need to explain that at all. That's a very self-explanatory situation. MJF is the best champion in the world right now. All right? That's the truth, buddy. All right. That's all I got for you. Let's keep enjoying wrestling. We're on the road to WrestleMania. AEW's kicked off 2026 with their first pay-per-view. We got a beautiful showcase of women's wrestling on the watch list this week. Can't wait to talk about it with you next week, as well as whatever else is in the pipeline. I look forward to April in the world of wrestling, as well as everything that comes after it. I think WrestleMania and SummerSlam are going to be fantastic this year. I think All In is going to be fantastic as always. All right, fellas. Be good. We'll talk soon.